YouTube.
Let's go
We
for
are
it.
live, whether you're ready or not. Jelena,
Yeah,
I just asked if you were ready, and then I just pressed go live
you sure
and didn't
did.
wait. Yep.
Nope.
But we got smooth lo-fi hip hop beats. It's Friday. I finished all my time with the in-laws, so that's over with.
Did you get your review?
No, I haven't gotten a review yet, but I think it went okay. My wife says I wasn't like too retarded.
That's a pretty good review so far.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. So I will say, oh, I'm playing this screen. I will say my mother-in-law told me I should just do whatever it takes to make the most money possible. She just said, say whatever you have to say to make the most money.
Oh,
and
with
don't
your
worry
show.
about it. Or whatever, yeah. Or like I could do an OnlyFans as far as she's concerned. As long as that made me money. I was like, I make some money from streaming. There's this thing called Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah. 2 weeks in on that, I think.
Yeah, so far so good.
You've almost had that for as long as you had that job.
Oh, now you're telling people. See, before we were live on YouTube and before we started recording the podcast, you were saying that you don't appreciate that I say I'm an advocate for the working man, considering that I'm not employed right now.
Well, considering that your only credentials were that you were employed for 3 weeks, it was just getting under my skin every time I heard you say it. I was like, no, Nathan. Come on.
Like I can't advocate. I can't say I understand how the working person feels now.
No.
Why? How can you say that? Because I worked. I did it. I showed up on time every day, and I made those dials, and I really put in the effort. Even though it was soul crushingly terrible, I struggled through it for almost 7 days of making phone calls.
Yeah. 7 days is, it's an amount of time.
It was torture. It was absolutely torture.
I can imagine. Yeah. That's what
But now
jobs
I
are.
realize, but then that's what people say.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's just what you do. So now I realize that's what people really do.
A lot of us.
Yeah. So I sympathize. So I'm an advocate for the working person. I think the working person has a bum rap, has a bad deal.
I'm more comfortable with the word sympathize.
I'm about to go on strike myself from this job.
I'm done.
So, what if we formed a union? We'll form a union and then we'll tell people, okay, you need to treat us better. Like there was a guy in the chat who showed up. We'll say this. We'll say right now the screen for the podcast says the real show starts in a few minutes, but I'll change it and say that we've officially started the show. No, because there was somebody in the chat, first thing, who was like, this is a terrible channel. Who else thinks this is a terrible channel? That's what they said. And under our union guidelines, that person would immediately be sanctioned. They can't say that. You can't say that to the talent. You can't tell us we suck.
You could just ban the person.
We can't take it. Yeah, I know. I could have, but I didn't because I'm okay with it. I don't care.
I don't know if we need a union to ban people.
Oh.
It feels kind of communist.
I was in a union, working as an actor. It's all in unions. So I was in the acting union. And now people can say the conspiracy theories, like that I am an actor and this is all a performance right now.
Yeah, I get linked to your acting reel so much.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's one thing my mother-in-law asked me. It was like, why don't you want to be an actor?
What did you say?
I said, I don't want to get vaccinated. She said,
awkward?
That's not a big deal to be an actor. And I was like, do you realize like what that profession is like for people?
Probably not.
But I just asked my friend because I'm curious regarding being an actor. Is now they say straight actors can't play gay characters, right?
I guess some people, say that.
I wish that was true when I was in college, because was in a gay scene for that play Angels in America, and I had to kiss a guy. It was so gross. That's how I know I'm not gay, because
Was it like just for a
it was so
scene, or did
gross.
you have like
Yeah,
rehearsals? Did you
for
have
a
to
scene.
practice it?
I don't even want to talk about it. It's just ridiculous. Should I not even have admitted to it? But I'm so glad now straight actors can't play gay roles, because I wouldn't have had to go through that. It's terrible. You ever had to kiss a guy before?
Kiss a guy?
Yeah, it's gross, right?
It's been a while. I don't really know anymore.
I see why girls find us so revolting. It's just disgusting. But yeah, she asked me why I didn't want to be an actor, and then said that I should just stay whatever it takes to have people send me money. So I have that thing down there. So you can send me money. And Jelena, we got to talk about that too. To buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, where I am then obligated to share that with Jelena. But I tried sending Jelena cryptocurrency today, and people have to tell me what I'm supposed to do. Is I lost it. It got lost. I tried to send it to you, to your address, would you give it out? So I don't know what to do. I sent it to your address, to your name.
I mean, keep going. Yeah, keep explaining.
And it's real money, and it's gone now. So what do people think I should do to rectify the problem? Do I have to send you the whole amount of money again? Because it's my fault?
Well, I just want to rewind. Okay, so that was your version of events.
Okay.
I'm going to rewind back to the point where you said you're obligated to give me money.
Yes.
I have never said that. I have never asked for money.
I'm just saying that.
But you have volunteered. You've been asking me recently for my Ethereum wallet. Is that the correct verbiage?
Yeah.
Wallet?
Yes.
Right. And I finally got one, and I sent it to you.
Right.
And you said, oh, do you want Ethereum now?
Right.
And I said, I don't want Ethereum, but I will accept Ethereum if you want to send me Ethereum. So then fast forward to today, and the reason why it didn't work is because you didn't send me Ethereum.
Well, no. It doesn't matter what I send you. It just on Coinbase Wallet, if I put in your address for whatever currency, it should just go to whichever is appropriate. But as a matter of fact, just so you know, US dollar coin goes in an Ethereum wallet. So it's the same address.
But it's not Ethereum. I'm just telling you on an energetic level why it didn't happen.
Oh, I see.
Because I didn't say I would accept USDC. I don't know. Put a poll up.
You know what? I think I can do a poll. People do polls in there. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so so what should I do? What should be done about Jelena's lost crypto? Is that how I should describe it, or how should I describe it? Because I'm calling it your lost crypto.
I mean, the only people voting are going to be those who are watching this, so they'll know what you mean.
Okay. What should be done about Jelena's? Send full amount again to correct address. Send again to correct address.
Which, just for the audience,
which means that I have to double the money I sent, which I don't even have that much.
And you said, I'm not doing that. You said, I think to quote you exactly, you said, well, you're not getting any money because I'm not resending it. So that's option number one. Just
okay, so I'm going to say send again to correct address, and then I'm saying send half. is an option, right? And then the other option is that you just say, oh, it's lost. So Jelena forgives lost crypto. Is that
Okay,
a fair?
yeah. Those are good options.
Okay. Because it cost me money.
Yeah, it's not funny. I mean, it's only funny because of what I said. You sent me USDC when I told you explicitly on the last show, I don't want USDC. And then it gets lost.
Yeah, but you told me. Yeah, I know.
And then it gets lost.
So that's what happens with crypto. It would be the very first time I've ever lost cryptocurrency. So since we're talking about crypto, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. If you want to support the show and help like make up for the lost crypto, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and you can leave a message and we'll read it on the show. You can also tip on Rockfin and leave a message and I'll read it on the show. DLive, though, I probably won't. So DLive, if you want to do a super chat, use the new system. And everybody, I hope you're doing great. What we have in the news today, we have there's the Alex Jones trial. If you want to talk about that, I have like a news report from InfoWars about it, which is pretty interesting. It turns out the FBI guy who was on the stand was also involved in the Durham investigation.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's an interesting connection there. I got told that by an insider at InfoWars. Ooh. So I have that information. And then you requested that we speak about Black Mermaids.
Well, not that generally. The Black Little Mermaid is what I meant.
Black Ariel is what her name is, right?
Right.
Yes. So we're going to talk about, that's why I brought up the gay acting was because actors sometimes roles are played by different races. I'm familiar with that. So is it appropriate or not? And can a mermaid be black? And is the AI racist because of what the AI draws when you prompt it to draw a black mermaid?
And that's the thumbnail of this video, is what the AI drew.
The thumbnail from this video is AI drawings of a black mermaid. I can't tell you specifically. I might be able to tell you the specific prompt that was given. But yeah, the one that I used for the picture was the nicest, the friendliest, because at first it was evil mermaids.
It was really scary. Yeah, it was
scary mermaids.
Yeah.
Yeah, when AI thinks about a black mermaid, it thinks of a scary mermaid. So is that something wrong with the AI or what?
Probably. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that because you requested that we talk about the Little Mermaid being black, and I'll show you some of the reaction to it too, like some of the memes. Mm-hmm. Did you see the memes about it?
I tried not to.
Did you see the memes of other characters being played by white people?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll show you that.
There's only one funny joke about it. And it happened like right after the casting announcement that a black girl would be playing Ariel. And it was by Royce Lopez on Twitter. And he was like, do you think the casting director was told to cast a ginger, but he was dyslexic? Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Right to the point. Address the ginger thing. Funny? I think it's funny.
You think it's funny to make jokes like that?
I think it's funny because it's the most controversial take that you can get. It gets right to the point. And it releases the air and the tension. And I thought we would end there. I didn't think that we would have like months and months of Little Mermaid jokes and anger and outrage. It's very annoying.
Yes. Okay. So you're interested in this topic. So we'll talk about that. I have, I just want to highlight this this NBC News reporter who I've spoken of a few times. I just want people to be aware of this person who is an enemy of the people. and has a few pieces out that exemplify what I'm saying about her. That's Brandy Zadrozny. It works for NBC News. Did you know Don Lemon? This is a piece of news. You know, Don Lemon apparently is no longer going to be in prime time.
That makes sense.
CNN is changing their setup over there.
Are they giving him like a morning show?
He is moved to mornings.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
He's a morning show guy. Like, he's not a serious person. He should be playing games and stuff, like giving away prizes.
Right. Now I'm wondering if I should have said that thing I said earlier about now I'm wondering if I should have said that thing earlier because people are going to make fun of me.
The thing about having kissed a man in acting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, it's too late now. It's out there now.
Seriously.
Is there video of it?
Nope. There's no evidence it ever happened. So people don't have to know about it.
Yeah, just this video of a confession.
Video with a confession and stuff. It's not bad. Well, I'm not gay, so it's okay. But people can say that. People
already said that. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. And then, the news about Martha's Vineyard, if you're interested in that. And there's like news about it being inhumane to treat people as pawns in a political game.
Yeah, it's kind of unnerving more so than inhumane because we're all pawns in a political game, you know. It's just weird to see them on an airplane in Martha's Vineyard. Like, oof.
Yeah, so there's some kind of story about how there was a payment made to a company. So I'm going to get into that. So people are really going after Ron DeSantis. I will say I looked at betting odds today. If you had to guess, okay, this is a good quiz. And let's see how our poll is doing. 55% said send it. Oh, wow. But a big amount say Jelena forgives lost crypto. Wow. More than I expected.
55% send again. 32% Jelena forgives. Yeah.
Go ahead and vote on the poll, everybody.
Keep voting, guys. I'm not going to make you send it again, but I want to see what they have to say.
Well, yeah, I have to send you something. I don't know what to do. Okay. And then, so then there's the stuff from Martha's Vineyard. I'll play you the conspiracy theory and about how like people are being racist. Even though they're helping immigrants, they're still racist because they call them trash, or they compare them to trash. So I have that quote too. Oh, guess what? In non-binary news, gosh, I hate to be transphobic or anything. Do you worry that people call you transphobic for anything you say?
No.
Really? Have you ever said anything you think somebody could interpret as being transphobic?
Yeah, I mean, I've been called that before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Really? By who?
By a former college classmate.
Oh, really? Because of what? Because of what?
Well, they identified as trans, and they were asking me what I thought, that meant, basically. And I said, I think that it's a chemical imbalance and mental issue. And then they called me transphobic.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I had a trans person that I was real good friends with in high school reach out to me. And just in case the person would run into my content or something somewhere, I figured I'd be like upfront. And I just said, I'm gender critical, by the way, but people can do whatever they want. But, that's all. Like, I think it's kind of trendy is what I said. I think it's kind of trendy, and this is a female to male, by the way, which is the most trendy from what I understand. Like, it's really this female to male thing that's most off the chain, apparently.
Yeah, it's a centralized attack on womanhood. They're trying to brainwash these girls who are going through totally normal developmental processes that they're fucked up and they got to change it up. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I could be convinced. I don't know. Like back then, I guess I would have never been convinced I was a girl because I never felt that way. But I can imagine it happening to other people because you're vulnerable when you're a young person to trends and what people think.
And especially girls, like there have been so many studies about how Instagram has impacted the self-image that young girls have with themselves. And like all of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are self-harming and don't like
Right.
themselves. So it's really predatory trying to convince them that they're born in the wrong body. It's awful.
Yeah, right. And then offering medical treatment for it.
Right.
That's very
Irreversible,
expensive. Right.
irreversible, expensive, terrible.
Well, I was going to say I don't want to be called transphobic, but the non-binary thing, I'm really opposed to, I'd say. That's one where I'm almost like, we have to call out the non-binary thing at a minimum, because where's that come from? You know?
I mean, maybe the same thing that made the frogs gay. I do think that there's something to the gender binary being dissolved, like on a chemical level.
You
There's
mean
something
that
going
it's
on.
happening right now and men are becoming more feminine and women are becoming more masculine?
Well, there's just a blurring of lines, yeah. And I think even without the social contagion element of it, we might be observing something similar of like a kind of a genderless type of person emerging. I think that's a larger pattern going on.
Yeah, a genderless character emerging is happening. So you believe in non-binary, like it's a thing, and people should be able to identify as they, them pronouns?
I mean, that's a different, topic. That's like a social one of is that a reasonable request? I don't know. It's difficult. It's confusing. I don't like using they for a single person, but
Have you ever had to do it?
I've done it out of respect once or twice.
Oh,
But
so I've never been around one of them yet.
yeah, well, for me, like I went to liberal arts school. Like I was there on the ground floor of this kind of thinking. So
Right,
we
you're
had like
younger.
Z's and Zers and stuff on campus.
Already? But you've been out of college for a long time.
8 years.
Yeah. It was already happening back then.
Hmm.
Really? Pronouns were already happening?
Yeah.
Wow. Really? Oh
Literally, it
my
was like the
God.
ground floor. It was like between
I had no
2010 and
idea.
2014. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's
That's where a lot of
crazy.
the Me Too stuff started too, with the Title IX protests.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
also the, who was the kid? Trayvon Martin, that kind of wave
Mm-hmm.
of protesting. All of those flavors were developed on the college campuses at the time. And
Oh
now we're
wow.
all experiencing it. So
Well, I think being non-binary is like a cop out a little bit. Like you don't even choose one, but that's okay. People can do it, and that's okay. I guess I don't think it's a thing though. That's all. I
that's
just
fair.
don't believe it. It's a thing. I believe I believe that there are two genders. I believe that sometimes men can be feminine and sometimes women can be masculine.
I do think to a large extent it is trendy. Like it's kind of a thing to glom onto. But I also think on the larger scale that there is kind of a genderless thing happening that,
I see. Well, that's cool. If people don't want to be um if they want to be gender non-conforming. Anyway, now non-binary runners can enter marathons, I guess, as non-binary. So that'll be interesting. I figured that'll be interesting because obviously the non-binary men will probably be a lot faster than the non-binary women, right?
probably, I'd imagine.
You know,
I mean, it depends on what surgeries they've all had done. Who knows at this point?
and then the people in wheelchairs are the fastest. I've always thought that's like a little ironic about marathon running. It's ironic that someone who has a disability actually is way faster.
I didn't know they let wheelchairs into marathons.
Yeah, there's wheelchair. Yeah, you don't know about wheelchair athletes and wheelchair. You do wheelchair marathons, but since they get to roll, it's way faster. than
I've
walking.
never seen that.
Yeah, they can finish a marathon really fast.
All right.
Yeah, but it's ironic though, right? That's why you wonder about that guy that had the prosthetic legs and he was able to run. It could have been those prosthetic legs really helped him out. So he might not have been as good as all that, since he had like technology assisting him.
Wait, was that the South African guy who killed his fiance?
Yes, tragically.
Yeah. Or was accused of whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, crazy story.
Yeah. Crazy in South Africa, man.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So we have the thumbnail of the Black Mermaid. And what did you want to comment about it?
I think we should play some of the memes or clips that you have first.
Okay, I have a clip of Adam. What's his name? Adam Walsh?
Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh. Sorry. I have a clip of Matt Walsh that I think this is the clip that people are saying he's being racist or something. So let's play that clip. All right, here we go.
All right, Max Winter says, a black actor playing the Little Mermaid really is a case of white erasure. All forms of art, including fairy tales, are meant to be reflections of the author's experiences and observations. Hans Christian Andersen probably based the Little Mermaid based on experiences he went through in his home country of Denmark. So it makes sense that most of his characters would be white, since that's the world and the people he was surrounded by. Yeah, I'm given the way that we deal with these sorts of issues, I'm sympathetic to that. Now, I would be fine, like we talked about yesterday. We don't have to rehash the entire thing, but if we all agreed that race in films and TV shows, especially fictional stories, don't matter, and we're going to take a kind of colorblind casting approach, and it doesn't matter as long as the actor is good. If we could all agree on that, then I'd be on board. And as I said, that's basically what it was for many years, what it was back in the 90s. But what I cannot abide by is the double standard thing where we say, well, the casting in casting matters only for certain races and not for others. No, we're not doing that. Also, by the way, with The Little Mermaid, can we also just mention that just from a scientific perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean. I mean, if anything, not only should the Little Mermaid be pale, she should actually be translucent. If you look at deep sea creatures, they're like translucent. They have no kind of pigmentation whatsoever. And they're just like these horrifying, they look like skeletons floating around in the ocean. That's what the Little Mermaid should look like. She should be totally pale and skeletal, where you can see her skull through her face. And that would actually be a version of Little Mermaid that I would watch.
Okay. He was joking, right? And then he said people took that and said that he was racist because he said that the Little Mermaid should actually be translucent like a deep sea creature.
Yeah.
Right. But so a few things about, you want me to can I make commentary on it?
Yeah, you go for it.
Well, mermaids she doesn't live so deep in the sea that she would be like a translucent fish. So there are plenty of fish that swim at the depth that the Little Mermaid swims, who have colors of all different kinds. So I'd say scientifically, he's not really necessarily being accurate to the way mermaids live. Now, can mermaids breathe underwater, or do they have to come up for air?
Like dolphins?
Yeah, like dolphins. Are they mammals, mermaids?
I think so.
So you think they actually have to go up and breathe and then they hold their breath underwater?
I don't know. I don't think they hold their breath. I think they have probably some sort of oxygen storage system somewhere. I don't know.
Well, so that's something we'd have to work out before we figure out what race it should be played by. But so you told me you were like, when you were growing up, since you're part black, right? Half, right?
I'm a mixed race person. Yes.
How am I supposed to not be racist and describe you?
I don't know. People seem to be able to do it.
Okay. Well, so you are, and you said that stories like kid stories and stuff for you growing up, you didn't see anybody who looked like you in the stories.
Right. But it's not something that I think I was consciously aware of until after the fact, like in college, when you're taught these things, at least the liberal arts schools that I went to, where they're like,
Right.
hey, media representation matters. And if you don't see yourself, then you're not empowered. So we need to change what media representation looks like for at-risk communities and whatever. And so that was when I was first like, oh yeah, fuck. None of the Disney princesses looked like me growing up. That
Yes.
probably had some kind of psychological impact. Um, and that's also kind of why I get annoyed by the main reason I wanted to bring this subject up is because I need people to be way more specific and intentional with the hills they're willing to die on. Like having serious conversations. I know Matt Walsh is a shitpost right winger person, talking head, but like I've seen people really be upset and get into this whole thing about how a black girl shouldn't be playing a fictional mermaid from a Disney show. I'm like, we don't even like Disney. Why are we mad about what Disney is doing? We shouldn't even be paying attention at all. And it just seems like this is not the way to win friends in this war that we're going into. And there's so much bigger fish to fry, literally, when it comes to what's going on right now. So I don't understand how so much air has been taken up with the Little Mermaid being black conversation.
Yeah, it started with Lord of the Rings recently, where a big Lord of the Rings fan, who's also the editor of a conservative blog site of some sort, said something that got some attention about how the new Lord of the Rings is like way too woke. Yeah, because they use mixed race, or they have characters of different races, and basically that in Tolkien's reality they were all white pretty much, especially the elves. So in the new Lord of the Rings, which I haven't watched, which is apparently like the most expensive TV show of all time, there's a Hispanic elf or something. And so people think, oh, well, elf are supposed to be fair. And,
The the difficulty and what like Matt Walsh was talking about, he's like, well, I'm fine with colorblind casting, but we shouldn't be doing activist casting. It's like, how exactly are people going to differentiate between the two? Like, because
right,
on one hand, I think it's great. Have a Hispanic elf. Who the fuck cares? It's an elf. Lord of the Rings is boring. I don't like the movie. I don't like the TV
right,
show.
right.
It's, but at the same time, I feel like whenever I'm watching a movie and I see someone who does look like me, I feel uncomfortable because I know there's like that segment of thought now that's like, oh, they only cast her because she's da 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 da, fitting some kind of demographic. So it's not
Right.
fair. Like there's no winning here. And it just really irritates me.
I can understand why. Yeah, because I also don't think that it's definitely not anything I care about. To me, I'm like, it's a mermaid, which is not a person in the first place. So who cares what color it is? It could be, it could be green, you know. So it doesn't matter to me at all. And then as far as colorblind, yeah, I agree. So yeah, I guess I'm a liberal, I don't care about that stuff. Tradition and so forth. Sometimes though, I can agree with people. Sometimes I guess if it doesn't make sense, like I think in the new House of the Dragon series, which I've watched the first few of them. Is it called House of the Dragon, the new
Something like
Game of
that.
Thrones?
Yeah.
There's a black guy who's rich. So some people might say, oh, well, that's not realistic because obviously there weren't any rich black guys or like dukes or whatever he was,
That's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but it's also fictional, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
still
that's the thing.
fictional.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I can understand it more when it comes to like portrayals of historical figures.
Right.
But even then, I'm like, dude, we've been lied to about so much in our history. Who even fucking knows at this point? Excuse my language, but like I've looked enough into these things to be like, I don't know. I don't know who was around where. The Moors seem to have been doing a lot. So just it's not something to focus on, I don't think. And I understand and I have sympathy for people who are like, well, it's destroying culture and whatnot. But like at the same time, like I said, it's Disney. Okay. It's Disney.
Well, it was a Hans Christian Andersen story before it was a Disney character.
Yeah, well, they're not going back and editing the book.
Right.
They're making a Disney movie.
That's right. It's true. I had to play, I also had to play a Hispanic character when I was in high school. Yep.
Okay.
And I was the victim of racial discrimination on another job too. Yeah. When I was in high school, we did West Side Story at my high school. You know, it's, which is a recreation of a Shakespeare play with characters that are different races. So anyway, we didn't have enough Hispanics in my high school. We didn't have like, you know, because the Jets or the Sharks or whatever the one side is, I think they're all Puerto Rican. So I was a Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. Okay. Did you like use an accent of any kind?
Yes. Yeah.
Really? All right.
That's how things used to be, you know. That's why I think, that's why I think like I agree with you that it's overblown to make a big deal out of it. But then also I think sometimes it's overblown because now they'll say the weird, the it's really weird. The thing they're doing in movies is they're saying you can't play a different race, right, in a movie, which you used to be able to do. Like, for example, was it Madonna who played Evita?
Yeah, she did.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right. So it used to be kind of a thing, right? You would play, sometimes you play a character that's not the same as you. And that was kind of normal. And now you definitely can't do that. But I see what people are saying that, well, what about in this case? The mermaid was historically white and, but it's a mermaid. So I don't, yeah. And also I did classical theater, and classical theater is like Shakespeare and stuff. And of course, everybody used to be white. So of course it all used to be white, but now, you know, maybe, but, or Greek plays, right?
Right.
The characters were mostly white, but I think they should be able to be played by anybody.
Yeah. I thought that was like the spirit of acting, right?
Yeah. Except though, I don't know, like if you were to watch a historical Shakespeare play, I can see where people make the argument. See, if you went to see Henry V, that's a historical play about, you know, a king and stuff. So you probably wouldn't want a black guy to play Henry V, right? Because he was a white king who was a real person.
Sure.
What about Othello? Like Othello is an African king, so it probably should be a black guy probably every time.
Probably.
Right.
But if I would watch a white Othello, that would be funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
So this is the memes that people are sharing because you said you hadn't seen the memes. So here's one. This is good. So it shows Disney, the Little Mermaid. And of course, so is this the actress? Is this really what it's going to look like? Or is that really what the actress looks like?
I mean, that's her face, but I don't know what this poster is from.
Is she that light skinned too?
She's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Around there.
So anyway, so that's the Little Mermaid. And then there's Mel Gibson playing Martin Luther King.
I would accept that. I would watch that movie.
And then there are more memes. There's, well, who's that? Ryan Gosling or as Martin Luther King. Ryan Gosling as Barack Obama. I guess Ryan Gosling is the guy that's in all the movies now. Chris Pratt as Rosa Parks. Tom Hanks as the last nigga on earth. Is what it says. I'm just reading the screen. I mean, you think I was just looking for an excuse to say the N-word? You think that's what most white guys are looking for?
I think they utilize any opportunity to say the N-word. If it comes up, they're going to grab it. Yeah.
This one's funny, though. Do you see this one?
That one's funny.
I'll have to explain it to the podcast. It says Netflix presents polar bears and it's black bears.
That's pretty good.
Documentary. That's pretty funny. So those are some of the memes people are sharing. Yeah, I'm with you though. It's over the top. Not a hill we need to die on, for sure.
No.
They're not taking things away from us. But yeah, but I am really genuinely like interested in the thing where you're not allowed to play anything because as a matter of fact, in acting, mostly it's gay guys playing straight characters.
Yeah. Ask Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right. Or I was going to say Tom Hanks. He might not be a homo. Or the two Scientologists, Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other one who was in Pulp Fiction. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh,
you're going to get it.
J. His name starts with a J. It has a
Travolta,
J in it. Travolta. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a homo playing straight characters. Then these guys I went to college with too, who are pretty successful as actors. Like I know they're gay, and I don't think they. I think it's like well known for a lot of actors, and they don't make it known because they have to play straight characters. They don't want people to think they're gay, actually.
Right. But now it's like, again, with the gender fluidity, whether it's artificial or real or because of the estrogen in the food, like that is more accepted. Like there's a ton of they, them dudes now and kind of gender fluid dudes who are playing leading men in movies.
Right. Right. They shouldn't be allowed to. So it's like straight men should stand up and say, listen, if this is the way it's going to be, then I demand that we don't cast any more of these homos in straight roles. You know?
I mean, that's an interesting approach you could go for if you want to get back into acting.
Well, I don't know. If you want to be fair, if you want to be really, really fair, then you wouldn't allow gay people to play straight characters. And that would be the end of acting because most actors are gay.
Or, I mean, but they make so many male characters kind of gay now anyway. So it's like you can get away with putting Harry Styles in a movie because he's probably doing something gay, even if it's not given much camera time. It'd be just 10 seconds, like looking the way he looks at other men. Whatever. What's
the deal with Harry Styles? Who is he?
He is the former, basically, front man of the music group One Direction. He has a solo music career, and now he's started his film career.
And he dresses like a girl sometimes?
Dresses like a girl sometimes on magazine covers and on his concerts.
I see.
He was dating the director of the movie he was in recently. So,
who is a guy?
No, a woman, actually. A woman movie director. Can you believe? Olivia Wilde directed the movie.
Oh, Olivia Wilde, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Well, that's all very interesting. All right. So I also wanted to talk about have you been following the Alex Jones trial?
I haven't, no. Tell me about it.
Well, I have something. I have like a report from InfoWars about it, which is kind of good. Let's see. Let me see if I can play that. It says it warned me that it's not safe because it's on banned.video. It's like 4 minutes. You want to get an update on the trial?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. I think people like to get updates and stuff. Yeah, this is where the guy says that the FBI agent who had played the sloppy sniper, and then maybe you can say what you think about Sandy Hook. Like, actually, we have to decide where we're at on it officially.
We need like a meeting before the stream if we're talking about that.
Yeah, I know. Should I ask it in a poll for people listening to the show?
Yeah, well, let's check in on the other poll, right?
Yeah, the other poll says I should send it to you. So I'll send you. I will send Jelena more.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, well, that's okay because I paid you less than maybe, like I still left a little just in case just in case you negotiated with me. That's why I asked you. I was like, oh, is this going to be enough? And then just in case you were like, no, I deserve more than that, then I would have said, oh, okay.
Instead, I just said, sure.
Yeah.
And you sent it to the wrong address. So
yeah. So
here we are.
That's okay. I left a little bit of cushion, but it's not going to be the full amount though, I don't think. But let's see. Well, maybe it should be the full amount because that's what people say is the right thing to do. But you might have to wait some time for me to save up some money. All right, here, let me play this. This is the InfoWars report, which is like illegal. Can I play it on YouTube? I can, right?
I guess we'll find out. I mean,
it's nothing crazy.
Is Alex in it?
No.
Then okay.
It's nothing crazy.
Sold out for close to a year. It's now back in stock. Our flagship product, DNA Force Plus. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and discover.
FBI agent William Aldenberg, who served as John Durham's lead investigator, is suing Alex Jones because he is traumatized as a result of things said on the show by former guest of the show, Wolfgang Halbig.
Yeah. Okay, so check this out.
Alex Jones.
Wolfgang Halbig was brought up in trial today because he's upset about how he's being talked to about in the trial. And they brought up the fact that Wolfgang Halbig has been protesting and calling them and sending them emails and stuff. Well, I actually was copied on some of those emails.
Really?
Yeah. So I have some of the emails that they brought up in court today.
That's
they
exciting.
They said to Wolfgang Halbig, cut it out. That's what they said to Wolfgang Halbig in the courtroom today. So, but I have the email from him.
How do you get that?
Where he sounds a little crazy. Well, I'm on his list, so I get copied on a lot of emails he sends out.
Fun. Okay.
Yeah. So he did send 2 emails, which I was copied on, and he says he's being defamed and slandered.
Is he like also? Why is he there? Like, is he on trial too?
Who? Wolfgang Halbig?
Right.
No, he's not there. He's
okay.
because
Because
he's the one that said things. This guy, when Sandy Hook happened, were you looking at conspiracy videos?
Yes.
Okay. So you've seen many conspiracy videos about Sandy Hook?
Yeah, but I don't have like perfect recall on it, so I couldn't tell you who this guy is.
Are you familiar with the widely circulated meme that about David Wheeler and the sloppy sniper?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, I showed it on my stream. Okay, let me go to DuckDuckGo. I can get a real search. I'm going to put in David Wheeler sloppy sniper. This is one of the biggest conspiracy theories about Sandy Hook. So let me show you. And then people know. So you were watching it in real time. See, I didn't look into conspiracy theories until late 2015. By then, everybody had said pretty much everything there was to say about Sandy Hook, although some people kept talking about it. But one of the main conspiracy theories was this, and you could see all these headshots and stuff. So basically, this parent, David Wheeler, who is also suing Alex Jones, people said that he was the same as this FBI agent.
Got it.
And then you see all these screenshots that say Sandy hoax, David Wheeler, fake father, sniper. So this is all this stuff. But none of this, I don't think any of this Alex Jones shared, but somehow it all got caught up. But he was specifically this FBI agent. They said, well, this is what they say. People said it was this guy, David Wheeler. And then debunkers said, no, it wasn't David Wheeler. It was this real FBI agent. So that real FBI agent, who is like the feature of this, one of the main conspiracy theories about Sandy Hook, was on the stand.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So that's how serious it was, what happened in trial. And then he cried a bunch. He was really emotional.
Oh, shit.
During the testimony, during this current trial in Connecticut.
Was it like real tears or actor tears, in your opinion? Your professional opinion?
I wouldn't be able to say. Well, no. Well, I didn't analyze it very closely. I wouldn't want to say in case what I said was wrong, because if I said that I thought it was legit, then people might really turn on me. So I don't know. I didn't look closely. I listened a little. I was listening to the testimony. I wasn't watching it. It sounded like it might have been real, but it was also awfully serious. Like he was very emotional, almost overly emotional. So I played a clip of it on the last show. And
I remember now. I remember the sound of it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, he sounds really sad.
It's a lot. Yeah.
He sounds really sad. So we'll have to talk. Okay, so let me play this so people have an update.
Going to this company. These are very powerful people. And I'm not anybody. And so someone like me, you just can't defend yourself. You just have to, at some point, you have to accept it.
He admits that Jones did nothing other than allow a platform for others to lawfully speak.
Hell would call the FBI. I didn't speak to him.
Okay. How many times did Jones call you?
He didn't call me, sir.
Did you ever see this photograph 289 on InfoWars?
I didn't know, sir.
Do you know whether he ever talked about you on InfoWars?
I don't know.
If Halbig appears as a guest on a talk show, does that make him affiliated with the talk show?
To me, it does.
Okay.
The judge, who is noticeably the most emotionally charged in the courtroom, is triggered when Jones's attorney, Norm Pattis, pursues the truth.
Who are the powerful people that Mr. Jones is affiliated with?
He's had,
I'm sorry?
For example, I don't know if you know who a guy named Joe Rogan is. He's a podcaster, a guy named Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan harassing you too?
No, not at all. No, I'm just saying, if I can answer the question.
If he can answer the question instead of being cut off.
He's not going to cut off. He's smarter than Joe
No,
Rogan.
just 1 second, gentlemen. All right, why don't we, no. I now lost the question because I.
The question was Joe Rogan.
I'll withdraw it and ask another.
Okay.
No, wait a second.
No, that's all right. So why don't we?
I guess he doesn't like the answer.
No.
All right, so counsel, let's just.
Sir, who are the powerful people that Mr. Jones is affiliated with?
Well, that was asked and answered. That was Mr. Rogan. No, counsel, sidebar.
Pattis questions the political nature of the trial, how 15 people waited over 5 years until 2018 to file lawsuits on the same day and in the same office. But the judge gets noticeably upset because Pattis isn't playing along with their kangaroo court and forbids him from mentioning the name Clinton and others.
Well, we did the Hillary Clinton. Now we did the Megyn Kelly. Should we address what's coming next?
No.
Well, I think it might make sense.
Judge, I'm not responsible for giving my adversaries a preview of what's to come any more than apparently they were responsible for telling me what witnesses they were going to call today.
The plaintiff complains that Alex is going to try and defend himself and admits they have agreed to lie to the jury.
But he's injected this idea that Alex Jones was merely questioning when the jury is going to be instructed in the courts to determine that he intentionally inflicted emotional distress, that he intentionally lied, that he acted with malice.
These clowns actually thought that a man who has dedicated his entire life to freedom of speech would stay silent while they destroy him in court with lies meant to attack the First Amendment. And if they succeed, then any random federal agent can sue you into oblivion over hurt feelings from the internet. Reporting for InfoWars, this.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope that doesn't get us banned or anything, because I played something that's supposedly not allowed, but it wasn't Alex Jones or anything. And he didn't say anything crazy. So I figured I'd play that.
What's your take on the whole thing?
What's my take? I mean, he's just getting railroaded because he was declared. It all goes back to him being declared guilty. He's not allowed to mount a defense of any kind. And they get challenged anytime they try to defend him. Like if they suggest that the charges are politically motivated, for example, then the plaintiff's attorney objects and the judge seems kind of sympathetic to that he's not allowed to say that Hillary Clinton brought up Alex Jones, as an enemy of the state. And then he was on Megyn Kelly. And it was after he was on Megyn Kelly that they decided all at once, everybody decided to file a lawsuit in 2018. But it seems like the defense isn't even able to bring that up. And then like he said in that clip, which I'm glad that one clip was in there, he says, you can't say Alex Jones was merely questioning what happened. You can't say that, because the court has already determined that Alex Jones lied on purpose to hurt people's feelings, to defame people. And that's already decided. And so you can't say anything that would suggest even that he didn't lie on purpose. So he couldn't have even gotten it wrong. You can't suggest that he might have gotten it wrong, because it's already been determined that he did it on purpose. So how does that sound? Does that sound fair?
I know it doesn't sound fair at all.
All because he didn't turn over some documents, which he might not have had, which may have not been available to him. And then part of his defense is that some of the information is completely unavailable because YouTube deleted all of the evidence. And so he doesn't have access to all the videos and can't say lots of things about them.
Right.
Because they're gone forever.
Now, and they mentioned this in the video too. Do you see what's happening to Alex Jones as like a template for what they may want to do to other people who have streaming channels? Or do you potentially see this Alex Jones thing as part of a larger show that everyone's kind of in on?
What do you mean by the second part of what you said? A larger show? What do you mean?
I mean, there's those people out there who are looking at Alex Jones and the InfoWars institution as kind of like, well, maybe they are part of this.
Like they're in on
production.
It. Yeah, right. Some people think that. No, I don't think that. I think they're being railroaded for real and actually being attacked. Like they're not part of it. At first I thought, oh, why doesn't he defend himself? I thought that it was weird that he didn't seem to be trying to defend himself as much as I thought he should, just from a freedom of speech point of view and everything. So, but now I realize that I think he just got screwed completely, and that it's the justice system and everybody's against him. The judges have seemed like they're against him. Like everybody's already decided he's a really, really bad guy that deserves to be punished. And I think that's really tragic, because I would have much preferred to see it proven in a court of law that he defamed somebody, because they didn't prove it. I'd like to see them prove that he defamed them. Like how? I want to know, how did he defame them? Well, the only way is because he didn't turn over some documents. So they just determined he defamed them on purpose. So I don't think that's right.
Do you still think he's Bill Hicks?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, pretty much. I know that I watched the documentary about him. I saw the pictures of him when he's younger and stuff, but he's what is he supposed to be? 47, 48,
there, yeah.
Something like that. I just don't believe his age. So, and he does look exactly like Bill Hicks when you match their faces up. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They did a documentary about him. They had all these pictures from when he was younger. But he also won a Bill Hicks Award on like the 10th anniversary of Bill Hicks's death for some reason. You know what I mean? There are all these weird things. And then his best friend is the same best friend. And also one of the very last things that Bill Hicks did was go to Waco. And then one of the very first things that Alex Jones is seen doing is going to Waco. And, you know, same best friend, same producer and stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot to say that it's not true.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, what do you think?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I
what
was
I
going to
think.
send the photographs to a photograph specialist.
Oh, right.
I was going to pay like $300 or something to get a professional analysis just to settle it. But in the end, the email didn't send because I think I included too many photographs or something. And so I just decided not to go through with it. But I was going to do a professional analysis. I mean, I have one that's really hard to argue about.
Do you know how to make a zip file?
Probably. But don't talk to me like that. I'm not. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid, like I'm a boomer or something. Just because I couldn't send an email. I was sending it through Gmail. I just pulled the pictures in and I kept pulling them in.
Yeah.
I pressed send. It said error. So I said, something's telling me it's not worth it. But he might have told me, he might have said that it really was the same person, that it really is the same person.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah. But then if you match up, you can also match up Nicole Brown Simpson, Nicole Brown with Megyn Kelly, and it's like a perfect match too. So that's another one.
That one's fun.
That one's pretty fun. Yeah. Yeah, to imagine that the whole OJ thing, you know, people who say the OJ thing was a hoax of some sort.
It's definitely one of those events that, it spawned the Kardashians, you know? So.
Like, I remember where I was when they said the OJ. You know, people say that they're like, oh, you're going to remember where you were when you found out the Queen died. That's what people were saying about the Queen. I was like, I already forgot.
Right. I don't know where I was.
Right. But I do remember exactly where I was when I saw the OJ verdict, you know, because it was such a big deal. That case was because you weren't even alive, I don't think, right? Or
I was alive.
Oh, you were.
Was it 93?
I don't know.
I was 1 year old.
Oh, okay. So you were you were not cognizant of what was happening. It was a big freaking deal, the OJ trial. It was a big deal all over TV. It was such a big deal that I was in high school and everybody turned it on the TVs in the classrooms for the verdict.
Wow.
Even though it's like celebrity news or whatever, people turned it on. So I wonder if they would have done that for the Rittenhouse verdict or anything. I guess probably not.
No way.
Yeah.
The kids have phones anyway now.
Yeah.
What's a TV?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Technology has changed things a lot. I'll read my Buy Me a Coffees.
Yeah.
Then I still have a little more news. If you want to support the show and you want to help recoup the lost transaction, do a super chat to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And you can do it after the show and I'll read it. And I have some from that were done after yesterday's show. And I have a long one from Dimitri, who bought 3 coffees, who wants some advice.
Oh, okay.
He says, "Hi, Guy. I'm in Perth, Australia. I have held off on having the jab, but I'm going to Bali for 6 weeks over Christmas. I went to my doctor and said, I don't want a heart attack jab or a stringy blood-causing jab. He told me to not have it at his surgery because they have Pfizer, but rather to go to the chemist and have a Novavax. Funnily enough, that's exactly what my research told me. Thoughts? Also, I don't need a jab to get into Singapore. I'm going there first. I just need a negative PCR test. But to get into Bali, I need a jab unless I have proof that I previously had the COV. I also don't need the jab to get in Australia. WTF is going on in Biden's America. Final note, N-word's voice gives me a boner. I thought it went somewhere totally unexpected with the last line. But as far as the jibbity jab, I don't know, man. I wouldn't feel, I don't know. If it were me, I probably wouldn't go to Bali, I guess. Since you're going to Bali, do whatever the minimum is that you think won't kill you if you're committed. So if that's Novavax, then great. I don't know enough about Novavax. I would just try to get injected with saline or something and have them say it was a vaccine, or fake it, or get a fake vaccine card. That's what you could do. There's a market for those. So there are doctors, nurses, pharmacists who are willing to write fake cards, and if you pay for it. So it might be worth it to save your life from having the stringy blood, which you don't want. So thanks, Dimitri, for the coffees. Kathleen got 3 coffees, who says, thanks, Nathan. I've been listening for years. I appreciate your perspective. Someone bought 2 coffees. It says one's for Jelena and one's for Nathan.
Cheers.
We'll see about that. And Brian M. bought 6 coffees, who says, been a good financial day-to-day, spreading the love. And the love is spelled with a $sign. So I guess he's maybe in vacuum cleaner sales and had like a good day going door to door.
Cheers.
No, I don't know how you have a good financial day.
Well, Brian,
I guess I do if you're in sales.
You don't have to split that with me because Brian also sent me 6 coffees. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, really? Great. Thank you, Brian.
You're free and clear.
Oh, great. All right. Then I just had Brandy Zadrozny. So Boston, they're doing this whole campaign against libs of TikTok still. And saying that they're spreading, basically that we're targeting hospitals, that everybody's targeting hospitals. So somebody got arrested for a bomb scare against Boston Children's Hospital. And Brandy Zadrozny, who writes for NBC News, calls out anti-trans influencers like Libs of TikTok for targeting Boston Children's Hospital, which has now been the target of at least a dozen bomb hoaxes, supposedly. So I will say I don't believe in bomb hoaxes. So I'm not saying bomb hoaxes are good or threats of any kind.
Right. Yeah, we should be doing something more tangible to put these body child mutilators out of work.
Well, I saw that Gays Against Groomers. I got an email from Gays Against Groomers, which says they're doing a live protest in front of the hospital.
Okay.
But then they'll be accused of, being terrorists, probably.
Look, it might be worth it. Save the children.
Yes. And then Brandy Zadrozny wrote another article. Remember, I was covering that satanic ritual abuse case in Utah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brandy Zadrozny is on that too. And then I got a cease and desist letter from somebody who said I couldn't talk about what was in the files anymore. And so I stopped talking about it. And she wrote an article about how it's the new satanic panic. And that guy in particular, that guy who has credible charges against him or credible allegations made against him. And I guess you can decide whether they're credible or not. He has allegations made against him by his family. And she dismisses it all as being satanic panic and says everyone can be labeled a satanic pedophile. And she says now she, since writing the article, is being called a satanic pedophile.
Wow.
In messages. So
it's a weird hill to die on, to go and be like, actually, guys, no children have been harmed in Utah.
Right.
There's a satanic panic instead, and you're blaming innocent men. Like, what? How do you know? Do you really know? Because this doesn't look like someone who knows things. What's her name? Brandy's. You were doing good at saying it.
Brandy Zadrozny.
What's her deal? Is she a New York person?
She went to Harvard.
Right.
Just like all of them. So, yeah, she and Ben Collins work at NBC. They're the terrorists there. And then the other ones are Will Summer with the Daily Beast. And I'm trying to think of, I think there's one more guy whose name I'm forgetting now. But Ben Collins, Brandy Zadrozny, Will Summer, they're specifically debunkers. And they go after anything that's against the mainstream narrative.
I do wonder how effective they are. Just because,
Yes.
like, within that circuit, it seems like the only people who really engage with the content and lift it up are also people who are manufacturing the same types of bullshit.
Yes.
So it's like, are they existing to trigger us? Like, because when I saw this article go by my timeline when I still had Twitter on my phone, and I was like, I don't like that. And I knew that if I clicked on it, I would just become angry. So I skipped it. But I'm wondering if people are clicking on this and they're trying to like radicalize us into being like, you know what? Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they're making money, right? Like they don't make money off of these articles.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Good question. There are people in the media who are really into doing this. Another one is Anna Merlan. Anna Merlan, I think, got a job with a major publication recently. She wanted to write a hit piece about me once and did write about me in a book. Said I was a former used car salesman.
Mm. That's nice. In a book.
Yeah.
It's official.
Yeah. Former used car salesman. That's how she decided. That is how you know the press they are not good people.
Right.
You know? Because I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt and I just gave her an interview. But then, of course, because it's ridiculous to describe me that way in all seriousness, since I worked in like really, really high-end luxury new car sales, to say, oh, he's a used car salesman, it's obviously a smear. So it's just not honest.
Yeah.
So you know these people just aren't honest.
Yeah, well, they have a very firm agenda and perspective, and they don't try to like neutralize it at all. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a petty bitch, I'm a liar, I'm a whore, and I'm going to push that on you under the guise of journalism. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, and then the other one, of course, is Taylor Lorenz, of course, who is just an insane person.
That's a fair characterization, I think.
Who's running in the media. We didn't even talk about Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, that was the other one. Yeah.
So they bust. Okay, so check this out. You have time? Yeah. We're going a little longer, but it's just because I got nothing to do today.
Congrats.
It's good to do the show. Yeah. Thank you. So here's a tweet from NBC News today about the Martha's Vineyard. So Governor DeSantis, I was going to ask you this. This is what I was going to ask you. This story has to do with Governor DeSantis. If you don't know the story, governors in states where immigrants are coming in illegally, they're sending those immigrants to other places like Democrat cities, like Washington, D.C. and New York City. And they've been doing that for a little while. Mostly it's been Greg Abbott of Texas doing it. But then Ron DeSantis flew in 2 plane loads, apparently, of refugees, about 50. Should I not even say refugees? Is that not politically correct? Or that is politically correct?
That is probably politically correct to say refugee.
Yeah. They're from Venezuela. So I think it's a complicated issue. They sent them to Martha's Vineyard, and people are, of course, really excited about it because they're like, oh, we'll show them limousine liberals that live in Martha's Vineyard what it's like at the border where these people are coming over all the time. And we're going to send them their way. So they did. And This is a tweet about it that was deleted. It says Florida Governor, this is from NBC Latino. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sending asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard is like, quote, me taking my trash out and just driving it to different areas where I live and just throwing my trash there, unquote. A founding member of a foundation which helps refugees says.
Well, that's not a good soundbite.
So apparently they deleted the tweet. But yeah, they compared refugees to trash that you'd leave out. So and then other people are really outraged that they're using children, women and children as pawns who are escaping socialism because they're from Venezuela, where it's true they have socialism. And people say it's wrong. And then there's a conspiracy theory about the company that got hired to fly in the migrants. So this is where they might be trying to get DeSantis on some kind of corruption, or maybe he gave the contract to somebody he knows or something. That's what people are going for, okay? In addition to saying that the immigrants were lied to, that they were misled, that's totally and completely wrong to do what they did.
Well, I'm leaving the Destin airport here. I was informed that the Vertol company got $615,000 to transport 50 migrants under Governor DeSantis' relocation program as a flight school training with a few employees. So I'm still very confused as to how that qualifies them to get $615,000 from the state of Florida to move 50 migrants across the country. Maybe Governor DeSantis can help us with that. Stay tuned.
See, so there's a conspiracy theory about it.
Well, that's an interesting question. Who is this guy?
Some guy who works at an airport, it looks like.
Oh.
Maybe a competitor to the flight school.
Yeah, he lost the contract.
Yeah, he didn't get the contract. That's what I'm thinking. Is he somebody who thinks he should have gotten the contract, I assume.
Right, and this has 225,000 views.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Yes. It is what people are talking about. And then there was another tweet I had. There was another tweet about it that said somebody was about to talk to the person who runs the company that got the contract.
Oh.
So people are talking about it, What do you think?
I think, politicians be politicianing.
So now here's another part. Maybe I should do a poll. So let me do a new poll. Okay. So by the way, most everybody, your odds have gone up more. It's way more. Now, 61% say send again to the correct address.
That's cute. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. You guys are all correct, but it's still not going to happen, probably. All right, I'm going to end the poll, and we'll do a new poll. Now I'll send you some money. Jelena forgives lost crypto only got 27%. Now it's going to take too long to do the poll. I'll just ask you, who do you think is favored to be president in the betting odds overall?
Right now, today?
Do you think you could pick the top three? Probably right?
Not. I mean, is it still Trump and DeSantis? Are they still in the top three?
I can't tell you without revealing the results, but yes. So it's like that, kind of. So who do you think is favored? Right now, you can wager on who's going to win in 2024, who's going to win the whole thing. And then you can also wager on who's going to be the Republican nominee and who's going to be the Democrat nominee.
Okay.
But to win the whole thing, who do you think is favored?
I mean, if people are appreciating the antics that DeSantis is engaged in, then I would imagine he has an advantage right now over Trump.
You are correct. Although his price has gone down 2 cents though over the last little while, so he's not like surging or anything on this news. But yes, Ron DeSantis is right now favored to be president over Donald Trump in second place. So Ron DeSantis is 26 cents, Donald Trump is 23 cents, and Joe Biden is 22 cents. Do you think you can even guess who's number 4? 4, 5, and 6?
4, 5, and 6. Oh,
yeah,
God.
they all cost about the same.
What
so
is
there
it?
are
that
only
they cost?
6 candidates. One is 8 cents, and the other 2 are 7 cents. Who do you think
Youngkin's not on there, right?
No, he didn't make the list.
Okay.
So you have to pick high. Who do you think? And it could be Democrats or Republicans, but
Wishful thinking wants me to say Tulsi.
no, that's crazy. Come on, don't be crazy.
I really don't know. I have no idea.
Kamala, Pete Buttigieg, and Gavin Newsom are the next
Got it.
ones up. So that's who people are thinking might be the next Democrat nominee, but I don't see it. I mean, they're not great. Democrats don't have a good candidate. I think Ron DeSantis could win easily. I haven't bet any money on him. I think he could easily win, possibly, because I feel like a different candidate from Trump against Biden could have easily won, possibly, in 2020, because Biden was really a bad candidate. So I feel like if that's the case again in 2024, barring some kind of October surprise or something about DeSantis, I don't know. I don't know if he's too controversial for some people to come around to.
Well, that's why it's interesting that he dipped by 2 cents.
Mm.
Because when I saw the Martha's Vineyard thing, first of all, Martha's Vineyard is a seasonal place. Okay. The billionaires you're trying to make a point to might not even be there anymore. It's after Labor Day. They're back in the city. Who cares? And also, like, the very visual demonstration of using people as human cattle to make a point, like it's unnerving, regardless of if the point is good, right? Like, hey, people who pretend like they care about people don't want the immigrants there either. Okay, fine. But and even when they were dropping off the migrants in front of Kamala Harris's house, did you see that coverage on Fox?
I didn't see the coverage on Fox.
Yeah, they had this guy, this Fox reporter, interviewing these people, again, I think from Venezuela, who are getting off of these buses from Texas. None of them could speak English. It was very humiliating, I would say. It felt like very exploitive. And again, on one hand, I understand you're trying to make a point, but on the other, these are still people. So why are we dropping them off in random places where they still don't know what's going on? I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me how it's being done right now.
I see. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think it's a little, I don't know. I think it's fair enough to send them to cities. Apparently, somebody was reporting that El Paso does it. El Paso buses people to New York City all the time, and nobody says anything because El Paso is a liberal city,
And I think, there might be a difference between sending them from the border places to the cities, but this is like sending them from the border places to very specific locations where there's not going to be anything for them there. Outside of Kamala Harris's house, you're not going to get any resources for a few hours. No one's going to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich while they're waiting, So it's ugh. I don't like that. I get it. And I guess that's why, again, we'll see if DeSantis is going to keep doing things like this for the next couple of years. Is that going to be effective? Are enough people just angry with how things are that they're going to accept things that, we might not want our enemies even doing? It's kind of weird. It's like a weird moral middle ground.
Yes. DeSantis is a complicated character because he is a little, he does do things that are somewhat tyrannical sometimes. So, like banning books, for example. Some of the books they banned, for example, they weren't really that controversial. They talk about this new thing. There's something called emotional social learning or something, which conservatives don't like. But which, when you read it, it doesn't sound that crazy. It's like when you see the examples of it, it doesn't sound that crazy. And I looked over some of the math textbooks that got banned, and I thought, oh, this is weird. There's nothing that controversial about it. And they just banned the books because they don't like this one particular kind of learning, which is they view as being some kind of liberal thing, brainwashing or something. So, Yeah, it is complicated. That's why I typically don't vote, because by the time it comes down to it, you're like, oh, well, that's a horrible person too. You know,
That's kind of the vibe that's developing.
like I wish elections were different, where it just seems like every time to me, it comes down to a choice between somebody really terrible and somebody who's also really terrible. Just like the South Park, where they have a debate between the giant douche and the turd sandwich. Like, that's what I feel like it's like every time, like Hillary versus Trump, Biden versus Trump. Before that, Obama versus McCain. I mean, McCain was who you had to vote for against Obama. I mean, what kind of choice was that?
Yeah.
And then Mitt Romney the other time.
It's been a shit show for a while. Yeah.
It's crazy. You can't vote for somebody you want to vote for. That's why we should have like some kind of ranked voting. They're experimenting with that. With some places are experimenting with that.
That might be us one day soon.
I'd like to do ranked voting. I would like it, because the 2-party thing is really crazy. It doesn't account for all the differences in people. People are way different than just 2 parties. Which is why I guess people don't identify with the parties anymore. But it is weird. I do appreciate places where minority parties get some representation.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people say that they don't identify with the parties, but then once November of an election cycle runs around, it's like very identitarian.
Yeah,
so,
that's what happens around here too.
We'll
people
see.
are just like, people are like, oh, even if you say, I'm not going to vote for Trump, I'm just not going to do it. People, when it comes down to it and it's Trump against Biden, then people are going to be like, oh, you have to.
Right.
It's Biden, or if it was against Hillary, same thing. It's like, oh, well, you got to vote. It's Hillary. You got to vote for Trump.
Yeah, no, not in 2020. I was like, not after Warp Speed am I going to fucking vote again.
Right.
Like, it was fun the first time. 2016 was cool. Let's try this experiment. But come on.
Right.
And again, 2024, like, really?
I know. Well, it might be coming. We'll see how things go with this whole FBI thing. Thanks, Vogan Filter on Rockfin. I got to remember about my people on Rockfin. And thanks, Billy Pierce on Rockfin. Thanks for the tips. We have people tuned in on Rockfin, actually.
Hey, Rockfin.
Hey, Rockfin. What's up? Hey. Anything else you want to talk about?
I just wanted to say hey to the D-Live people. They don't get any love. I appreciate you, D-Live. I also wanted to say that there was an Othello that starred a white guy. There's an Orson Welles version of Othello, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Apparently very famous. I haven't seen it. I kind of want to.
Yeah, people used to play different races.
Yeah, and Orson Welles was like, he was a G. I love Orson Welles.
Yeah. He was the one who was in that very famous movie,
Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I have that on DVD.
Yeah, I think I watched it on Laserdisc.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Do you know what Laserdisc is?
Barely.
Yeah.
They were big, right?
Yeah, they were the size of records. Yeah. And they were like gold plated or something. They were so expensive. And you had to turn them over. They didn't fit a whole movie. So you had to turn them over, and you had like 2 discs for a movie.
Oh, wow. That's embarrassing.
That was for people who were really into movies before DVDs came out.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Laser discs. Yeah. Yeah. They had a Laserdisc library at my university where I watched some movies that way.
Retro.
Yeah, it's cool. Retro technology.
Do you have any retro technology? Like, do you collect anything in anticipation of some sort of event where we don't have access to the things we do now?
I would like to say that I did, but no, I don't. But I have thought in the past that one day actual physical media will be important again, because now everything is on the internet, right?
Yeah,
so
for now.
So one day your CD collection, you'll actually be happy that you have it because you won't be able to stream music anymore or something.
Yeah,
It's
or
possible.
it just won't be as easy. Like, who knows what kind of requirements they're going to put into place to access certain services and information in the future.
Right.
I'd say get as many hard records as you can now.
Yeah. So do you collect ancient technology?
I have a lot of DVDs. I have some typewriters. I have some word processors.
Really? You have word processors? Those were cool.
Yeah, those are fun.
Mm-hmm. With like a daisy wheel for the printer or what?
What's
Do you
a
know what
daisy
that
wheel?
is? The thing where the daisy wheel is a thing where it's one wheel that has all the letters on it and stuff, and that's how it prints.
Oh no, I don't have that yet.
It's not dot matrix. Do you know what dot matrix is?
No.
What the difference is? So back in the day, to print something, you could either print it with, you could have it could work like a typewriter where it typed the symbol, or it could do dots. And so it could do like, so it'd be a bunch of dots that made the letters. So they were made out of dots. So the daisy wheel was basically like a typewriter, except every character was on this wheel. So it just had to spin around and type. But that's the only way it could make a real letter. You couldn't have fonts and stuff because printers couldn't do that. That was before. Then laser printers came out, and then desk jets and stuff. But before that, yeah, you had to use different kinds of technology. So that's an old technology I was just talking about.
Very old.
Yeah, I had an old computer with a 2-color screen, green and black.
Oh, wow.
And I would play adventure games on there where it was just all words and you just had to use your imagination. There was like these choose your own adventure games. They were pretty cool. It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons kind of.
Yeah, so if anyone has any old technology they want to send to Nathan's P.O. box, we can do a show and tell.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to send me money to my P.O. box, or no, I had an Atari 2600 for a long time too. I think I finally got rid of it. I had an Atari 2600 and a bunch of games for it.
Damn.
I think I finally got rid of it.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. But I thought those games were, video games were cool. I grew up at the very beginning of video games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Pretty much, which is pretty cool. So I got the Atari 2600 when I was a kid and stuff, played the games. Pretty epic. All right. So I think that's it. I think Hoax Wars asked me to be on his show. I see Hoax Wars in the chat. So I might be on Hoax Wars' show today. I'm not sure. Hoax Wars, you can verify. I see you in the D Live chat. Arwen mentions the Commodore 64, which was epic. And then there was the Commodore 128. There were a lot of epic. You missed it back in the day. Computers having actually to type out commands and things.
Yeah.
It's way different.
I edited like my MySpace templates.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I remember doing that. That was cool. I remember having to do coding to edit in MySpace, and I would code it so it would play music when you went to my page.
Exactly.
And then you could rearrange which friends showed up on your page. Yeah, I remember doing all that stuff.
We
Yeah,
were
it's
so
cool.
smart. Like when we first got the internet, kids were coding and stuff. We weren't taking selfies and posting dances. We were like inventing the internet as it developed. And now look.
Yeah, I know. Look what happened.
Whoops.
Yep. So cool. Well, great doing a show with you.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Just, everyone try to have a good weekend. I know the vibes are tough right now. I cried a couple times this week, but
Really?
It's going to be okay. I'm streaming on Sunday night, probably 7 p.m., maybe a little bit later Central Time. If you go to youtube.com/Jelena, Jelayna, and I'll see you there. But, keep strong and carry on and whatnot. We'll get out of this.
Yes. And I think everything is going to be okay. We are going to have a financial catastrophe. I did have some financial news. So I did have some financial news. Should I mention that? Is it because you're trying to make people feel better and I'm trying to make them feel worse? Is that where you're laughing?
No, I'm just laughing at the juxtaposition. It's good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah. You say everything's going to be okay. Let me just show you some news to contradict what Jay just said. Here's some news from Fox 5 New York. Redfin predicts sharpest turn in housing market since 2008 crash. So Redfin is saying housing is about to go down. And then I have this news also. So
that was my first job, Redfin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then, shit. I have too many screens up. Hold on.
We had free lunch 3 days a week. They would cater it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, working in like a tech hub in like a tech city, there's a lot of perks. Free snacks. They had Nutella.
Oh, really?
Great.
Nutella.
Yeah.
That's good. That's exotic.
Like the little snack packs with it's great.
Cool. FedEx CEO says he expects the economy to enter a worldwide recession. This just happened. So this is why stocks and Bitcoin and stuff are down.
Didn't FedEx's stock drop by like a lot today?
Yeah, it's because of this.
Wow.
FedEx CEOs, they said they're not shipping as many packages. And he says, they know what's going on with the economy and people aren't sending as much stuff. So we're about to go into a synchronized worldwide recession. So those are news. So for people, Jelena just said, don't worry. No, you got to worry. Shit's about to hit the fan. Make sure you have your water, your Bitcoin stuff.
Yeah, I will say, be anxious for nothing, okay? A calm, clear mind is going to help more than a frantic, panicked one. Yes. So even if it looks like everything's falling apart, and it is, it doesn't mean that you have to fall apart and your life has to fall apart. There's ways around and through this.
Yes. Ways around and through. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. Okay, cool. Jelena, thanks for doing the show with me and thanks for being on camera. Everybody appreciates it.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I forgot about this. I was going to let you off the hook. In the last show, you blamed me for us not being on camera on Monday.
Even though I wasn't on camera either.
Well, no, even though the reason we weren't on camera is because you told me earlier that day, hey, I'm not going to be on camera.
Right.
And I said, okay, cool.
Oh, but then I thought you said you wanted to continue being off camera a lot more.
Well, after the show, I made a, offhand remark like, yeah, I do I prefer not being on camera.
Right. That's what I was telling people. No. Okay. Sorry for misrepresenting you on the air.
Thank you.
Yes. You want to do the best show possible every single time.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Cool, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Friday night. Have a great rest of your weekend. I might come back and stream again tomorrow because I don't have anything to do. So I might get some news together and stream tomorrow. So get ready for it. And if you want to support the show and get your message read, and also go to truthclothing.io is our t-shirt site. Check out our t-shirts. And if you want to do the buy me a coffee, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And that's it. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. And that is what it is.